Let's talk to Sofie Geisel about this from the Association of German Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Europe's shift to the right, let's start with that. What does that mean for business, in your words?
A problem, because business in Germany is more and more international. And international business is not only international business in function of clients, but also in function of employees.
And the tech sector in Saxony, Silicon Saxony, I mentioned it before, employs 50,000 people. I mean, they're the types of firms that could just up and go at any time and employ someone else somewhere else in the world, because they're the tech sector. I mean, a lot of that stuff goes online and in the cyber world and doesn't have to be done in Saxony.
Yes, but you must say that they are also very dependent of qualified workforce, and you don't find everywhere in the world the same level. So we are quite good in Germany concerning our qualification level.
But are they getting enough qualified workers here? Because the skills shortage is a problem in Germany, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And that's where migrants come into play.
Yes, but skills shortage is not only a problem in Germany. If you go elsewhere, you have a lot of workforce, but not only automatically skilled workers.
OK, so the migrants do play a big part there. I mean, and some of the migrants that have been coming to Germany do have skills and could be integrated into the German workforce, but then there's the language barrier, isn't there?
Yes. At the moment, you must say, if we look at refugees coming in the last year, we do not really know which kind of qualifications and which kind of vocational training they have. It is not really very well analyzed already. But one thing is clear, the German labour market needs people from abroad, because we cannot compensate our demographic change problem by internal potentials.
But what happens when an employer doesn't want someone from abroad, when an employer does want a German?
It depends also always the branch, but I think there are many branches who are really dependent to be more multicultural and more diverse in employees.
OK, well, let's have a look at an initiative of yours. In March, your organisation, the Association of German Chambers of Commerce and Industry, launched an initiative known as Companies Integrate Refugees, the aim being to connect firms with each other, share experience, offer legal advice, and, of course, get migrants into the workforce. At last count, 670 businesses had joined, big and small. A clear signal to the rest of the world, I guess you could say, of Germans' willingness to help those fleeing persecution and war in the Middle East and Africa. Would you agree?
We started in March, so it could be always better. We always could be better.
It's still the beginning.
It's still the beginning. And I see that we find more and more companies who are very interested in integration things and who are very interested in the practical questions. How can we integrate refugees or migrants? But it's not something, we in Germany not really an integration country or a migration country. And therefore there are not so many blueprints and to how you get that, how you do that.
But what are some of the right things that employers are doing to manage to integrate migrants? We've had lots of examples.
I think we have to develop in Germany somehow diversity cultures in the companies. But we also have to deal with a lot of, especially if we look at refugees, we have to deal with a lot of bureaucratic and administrational questions at the moment, because it's very new for us. And we are faced with a situation we are not fully in at the moment. But companies have, I would say, 6 problems. They want to know how they get in contact with refugees, with migrants. They want to know how they can employ them, how they can overcome the language barrier, which is really very hard in Germany because we are so German. And they have also the question, how can we prepare our people who is already in the company? How can we implement a diversity culture? These are one of the big questions companies has at the moment to answer.
And very briefly, just your advice to companies who are struggling or are adverse to this, don't want to do this, who don't want to integrate migrants. What's your advice to them?
Try it out, and don't be so cautious and so don't be courageous. Do it.
Okay.
A lot of companies has really good experience with that.
Try and try again. Sofie Geisel, thank you very much for coming in today.